Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Here we are on episode 38, the Voodoo Love Gods. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Hell
The Voodoo
yeah.
Love Gods, I got some incredible friends. I'm going to have a conversation with them. I have known these guys since 1989.
Wow.
I have two fantastic guests in studio. I'm going to say each one of you guys' name, and then I'd like for you to say a few things, too. I have Andrew Roff and Brian Sefsic. I'm going to pitch to Brian. So what would you like to say, Brian? Introduce yourselves to our audience.
Brian Sefsic. Been in the music for about 45, 50 years or so. And I like it a lot, and that's why I'm still jamming with Andy. I'm still digging the music, and I'm going to keep on doing it.
Now, you and Andy have been playing with the Voodoo Love Gods, making music together since what year?
I want to say 89.
Well, I joined about 86 to the Voodoo Love Gods, and we put that record out in 87. So
Right.
So really about 86 is when I met Pat first, and then Brian.
So, Andy, go ahead and say a few things about your role in the band.
Well, my role has evolved. I started out playing the drums back in the 80s, and then recently I got promoted or changed over to the bass for a while, and then I've immigrated up to the guitar. So I've played drums, bass, and guitar in the Voodoos. Currently playing guitar.
He does it all.
He does it all.
Yeah.
We've been asked to be part of a very special event that's been arranged by the Frederick County Public Library System. Nick, do you mind pulling up the first graphic that we have? And I want each one of us are going to say a few things about this event that we have coming up on Saturday, January 24th. This is in downtown Frederick, Maryland at the Seaberts Arts Public Library. Got an incredible space that we're going to use. We have a panel discussion. We have a wonderful young librarian that's been working with us on this. And we're all very excited about this. I've been asked to be on the panel. I'm going to share my time with the record producer, Rick Knoll, who we'll talk about later in the episode. Brian, what would you like to say about being a panelist on this very special event?
Well, I'm excited that other people are excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because it was really a small scene back then. And but it made an impact. So
Yes.
it's kind of interesting that other people find it interesting besides us. You know. I mean, I still enjoy the music. And the scene, everybody that we played with back in the day. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Andy, what would you like to say? You've put and I want to recognize you, Andy. You've put a lot of energy into this program, and you also organize. You guys have a special show that night. We'll plug that next, but I want to thank you for putting the energy that you have into this. So, anything that you would like to say on the project, I'm sure the library would be greatly appreciated.
Well, this is like the first time that underground local bands to Frederick have been recognized by an official entity, the library. And it doesn't get any more official than that. And they have been kind enough to forgive all of my past due library books. So anybody that has any indebtedness to the library or doesn't want to come down to hear us talk because they have a library book out, they're waiving for one time only all fees and fines. So please come on down and check us out on the 24th. We're going to talk about, I guess, what happened back in the 80s. I'm going to play some music from that time period as well, kind of as an intro warm-up session. So come in, say hi if you know us. If you don't know us, please come down and find out what it was all about back then. And it's not just, we're going to be focusing on the 80s, but it's about creativity and what it takes to do your own thing. And I think it's harder and harder these days. It seems, I was talking with Brian in the car, it just seems like there's a lot of conformity. There's a lot of cover bands. It's hard to break out and do like your own space creatively, whether it's, in arts or music, or maybe it's even easier, or maybe it's so easy people don't want to do it. I don't know, but it was a struggle back in the 80s to, come up with stuff, to record stuff. It was expensive to get gear, to play out. Nobody wanted to support it. There wasn't a lot of support. We had to rent halls and play at parties a lot of times. But there were a few good supporters. Rick Knoll was one. He'll be down there. But just come. It'll be a good time, for everybody. You're going to learn something. And we'll have a whole bunch of giveaways and freebies, too. So come on down, get some stickers, maybe some new music. We're going to be talking about old music, but the Voodoo Love Gods are all about recording new music. And we got about a dozen new songs to lay on you cats. So come on down and find out where it's at.
I love that. Nick, do you mind bringing up our next graphic? This is also going on Saturday, February the 24th, downtown Frederick, Maryland. Andy, you organized this show. Go ahead and tell our audience what all is going to be going on and exactly where the venue is, etc.
Old Mother's Brewing. It's up on North Market Street, approximately around between 6th and 7th. Street on North Market, across from the fire hall. They make their own beer. They're like a local underground homegrown brewery that's right there, and they support a lot of local things. They supported this punk rock flea market that they had at the fairgrounds just recently, and reached out to them. We're going to be performing from 6 to 9 with another local band called the Helgramites that do all original songs.
We love the Helgramites, yeah.
The Helgramites will be playing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing some records from the 80s, like The Left and the Voodoos and the Skeptics probably, and some other compilations that I got from Bonafide Records of local bands from that era. And then the Voodoos are going to go on probably 8 o'clock, play at 8 to 9, something like that. It is free. It's also all ages. It's family friendly. So come on down and find out what the wild sounds are of Frederick's underground.
Brian, what would you like to say about the show that's going on that night?
Well, I hope we have some girls dancing like I seen on that poster. But it should be a fun night. I'm looking forward to it. We haven't played in like 2 years.
Yeah, I was curious
We
about
got a
that.
couple.
So it's 2
We got
years.
a couple new members, and sounding pretty good. And I'm just excited about playing out. It's been a while, so
Yeah.
and I hope we have a decent crowd.
Yeah, me too. I hope we get a good turnout, too, for both of the events. So you guys have been working on some new music, and you guys are working on a new album. So I want to talk about where you guys are now creatively before we go back in time. And Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you guys are with your newest album? This is the Voodoo Love Gods, Puke and Piss Their Way to the Top.
That's right. It's puking and pissing because it rhymes
Puking
a
and
little better.
pissing.
But we actually have two of our. We didn't know what to call this thing for the longest time, but we have a song. It's called Jimmy Pukes a Lot. And we just recorded a new one that's called Don't Piss on the Floor. So it just seemed appropriate, and in relationship to some of our other titles of other musical endeavors, that Puking and Pissing Our Way to the Top would be a good, typical voodoo flavored type of a song thing. Plus, this right now. That cover is going to be going over to England to Damn It Records, and they're going to be putting out 10 songs on digital release only, but that's going to be the cover for it. And these guys at Damn It really like the punk rock thing, so I kind of pushed the title more towards a punk rock puking and pissing. And if I could get the word beer in there, it probably would have been perfect, but we don't have a beer song yet. We do have a couple other songs that aren't going to be released in England that we're trying to save back for hopefully a record release here in the States through Hub City Vinyl. So we're asking anyone that views this episode or comes down to see us or comes to the show to please hit Hub City Vinyl up on Facebook and ask them when the new Voodoo record is coming out. We really need that. We need to bug this guy Lloyd, the owner.
Lloyd, the owner at
So-
Hub City Vinyl.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the new Voodoo Love God album
That's
going.
right.
So please, everybody, let's subvert this whole thing. This is Don't Piss on the Floor.
Right?
True story. This is a true story about Brian and one of his girlfriends, companions, or
That, no, I got you. Brian, let me ask.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
As a songwriter,
Yeah.
what's and we'll spend more time with your history, but in your mind, what's the first song that you consider this is I wrote this song and I finished this song? Because you've been writing. I mean, I got a million of them. That's one of my all-time favorite songs by you. I mean, I got a million favorite songs by you guys. But I'm just curious. The very first song that when I asked that question.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the songs written are collaborative. 'Cause, you know, somebody else will have something. But an idea will come. You know, I mean, I've written some songs by myself. And what was the question again?
What's the earliest song that you were part of,
let's
be it
see.
with the Left or just that you remember? This
Well,
was a song. This I considered this my first song.
Yeah. Well, I wrote some songs with my wife, just messing around. But I'm Sick. But that was one that we wrote together. But we were Vicky Slice and Brian Peel. We were a duo. But the first song I guess I wrote it for the Left was AIDS Alley.
Hey, darling.
Yeah. And then I wrote most of, it was my idea, was my shows, you know, and that was me and Jim wrote that basically. He used the rest of it. But that's AIDS Alley, I would say, was probably the first song. that I
What
wrote.
year? What guess? Just take a guess.
Shoot. 83 or 84.
83 or 84.
Yeah. That's basically when I started jamming with those guys, 83.
83.
Yeah.
Andy, the first song that we're going to listen to, do you want to set it up? Talk a little bit about it. This is the first audio clip that you submitted to the
was
show.
it Don't Piss on the Floor? Because that's what we just
You want
heard.
to play just a teaser of it?
Yeah, I was playing it earlier.
Yeah, he just played it.
That's all right. I wanted to have an underground there, or under
Yeah, it sounded good. So this is Don't Piss on the Floor. And it's a true story about Brian and one of his paramours. But the guitar in there, believe it or not, the lead guitar part, I found out that you could play guitar through a reel-to-reel recorder. And so I came across an old Silvertone reel-to-reel recorder, and I played through it and put an effects pedal and recorded it. And that's the guitar sound that's coming out of there. But it's a fun sing-along, you know, and it seems like a lot in this time, everybody wants a designated driver so everybody else can get shit-faced drunk, which is fine. But then if you go back to your place, they're going to end up pissing on the floor because they get so drunk. So it was just kind of a funny, you know, it's like I try to find stuff to write about that's kind of funny but true at the same time. Some of it's not funny, but some of it, I like to find truth in life and try to shine light on it. And this was one aspect I thought. Typically, you might want to keep that hidden or something about a girl getting so drunk she just wakes up and pisses on the floor. But
You want to play it?
I think it has a deeper meaning
it?
somewhere involved.
He's
Okay.
been been playing it. I hear it.
Oh, I'm not hearing it. Can you push mine in there?
Sorry, man.
I ain't hurt nothing.
But yeah, Don't Piss on the Floor. We'll be playing that on the 24th of January down at Old Mother's. And
I got it.
we have a
Thank
bunch
you, Nick.
of
Sorry.
I have a bunch of outtakes and like versions of the songs that we're going through mixing, and I think we're gonna make some sleeves up and just give them away either at the library or at the show later that night. So come on down and maybe you'll get a free sample of some Voodoo Love God
And
stuff.
whatever you do, don't piss on the floor.
Don't piss on the floor.
can't find the toilet, then head for the door. Just don't piss on the floor.
You like to write those funny, fun kind of songs, you know.
Right.
The Voodoos, although we're punk rock or we're underground, we don't really take things that seriously, and we usually
Go ahead and close the song down. We got one more, right?
We usually try to, there's usually some humor embedded into what we're doing.
No, as a fan since 1989, I can definitely say that the satire and the humor and that's always been one of my favorite parts of the band. You guys have always been my favorite band, the favorite local band. Let's take a listen to the next song that you guys. Which the title on this?
Well,
one?
the other song I sent was "Don't Let Me Go Under." This was written by Brian and Pat back in about 86, 87, in the 80s.
Yeah.
We never got it released or did anything with it, and so we re-recorded it here last year. This is me playing guitar. Me and Brian did this whole thing. But I wanted to bring it up because Pat's coming on later.
Right,
so
yeah.
Pat originally wrote the guitar part, and then Brian wrote the words.
Probably heard it back in the day. We played it probably when I first met you.
Yeah, I was actually thinking it kind of sounded familiar.
We didn't, because when Pat left, we didn't play it anymore. We
Really?
hadn't played it since Pat left the
Really?
band. Yeah, because we were doing all new.
Right.
Whenever
Go
a
ahead
member
and bring that
leaves,
down, Nick.
Well,
we
I'll
throw all
be
their
damned,
shit out.
Andy.
We threw all their shit out and just did new
We
stuff.
kicked Pat's ass to the curb. No.
Since we've been talking about Pat so much, do you mind if we go ahead and bring him up, Nick?
Yeah, just go ahead. I'll bring him in. You guys just keep talking.
All right. No, it's great to have Pat Faville as part of this conversation. So it's great to talk to you guys about what you're doing now. And I thought with Pat, we would take a little bit of
I haven't seen him
history.
in a while. It should be
Yeah, me
fun.
neither. I don't think I've seen him since 2019.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, Pat. It's good to see you.
What's up, man?
How are you
Hey.
doing? You look wonderful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, we were just listening to "Don't Let Me Go Under," which I was saying was a collaboration between you and Brian, and we had never played it since you left the band, really, but we stole it from you and re-recorded it, and we're going to be playing it.
I can hear
It's coming out on this new record, that
What's
we're
that?
doing. We did a bunch of new stuff, but we also revamped some old stuff, and that was one of them.
Pat, can you see Andy? Can you
Pat.
see everybody?
I can, yeah, I can.
Awesome.
Pat, let me ask
Awesome.
you something. You remember the day that I met you? I think it was the end of '85 in the streets. Wasn't like the Dusters playing and somebody else was.
Actually, I think I met you when I was living with Andy and Dennis. That you came to the house, and I think that you and Rick Knoll came over.
I thought I met you in the streets, and you were telling me about your ex band, the Subterraneans, and I was telling you about the band, the Left, that I was in, and we both were bandless, and we said, okay, let's jam.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
And at the time, like I was thinking about it, and so much of like the artistic direction, like you and Randy really, really bonded.
Yeah, Randy Jones. I loved Randy.
Like you guys just had this, sort of mutual, juvenile delinquent sense of humor.
Exactly.
That you guys just latched on to each other, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I miss him.
Hey, you pull my finger. Oh no, you pull my finger.
Hey, you gotta laugh in life, man. If you don't laugh at yourself and laugh at, you can't take things too seriously. I mean,
Pat, let me ask. I haven't seen you in a while. It's really wonderful to see you. What are you doing these days creatively, and what are you doing with music? I want to stress we have Cafe Della Morta on Seven Arts Archives. I
Wait a minute.
love that music.
Pat, don't say masturbating a lot because that ain't gonna. That's not very creative. That's not very creative.
Yeah, don't say I'm masturbate.
Well,
I got you. That's funny.
It can be Brian.
I guess it could be. You could create some.
Yeah, I've been slowly just recording more stuff. Shane, Shoe Needle, and
Yes, yes.
I are still working together.
An incredible
The
musician.
The last stuff we recorded, I actually brought in Craig Stang,
Okay.
and we just recorded one song, but it's the first time I've played with Craig in, years. Since the Killers from Space.
Right.
So that was fun, working with him again. And I'm just still like right now I'm I'm sort of set to do like the most ridiculously psychedelic stuff I've ever done.
Okay. Good. I like that. One of the things with this library, and then we've got we've got your pictures. I when you came to Frederick in 2019, when we all go to Frederick, it is so different now. If you were to describe and try all of us to try to describe downtown Frederick in the 80s, it was nothing. I kept thinking about, I mean, I think people forget you had the John Hanson Public Housing Project up, 5th, 6th, 7th Street, up there. Those areas were really almost like no-go zones. You could get a storefront for a couple of $100. So I'll go with Pat. Your recollections of when you downtown Frederick, Maryland in the 80s.
I mean, it was first of all, it was affordable.
Yes.
So, the places like the Blue Dragon, it's like that wouldn't be possible now. Or the Carroll Creek Cafe. It's like I doubt that anybody could really get away with, with pulling something like that off. But yeah, it was when I lived with Andy and Dennis, it was over on sort of like across from the Frederick Fairgrounds, way East Patrick Street, like way out there. Sort of like beyond the Cider Press. We were about a block away from a place called Sagner Court, which was like absolute ghetto. It was.
Yeah.
Was that where you were getting your crack at?
Well,
Hey, wasn't Ben living with you guys?
It was called Love Boat back then.
Wasn't Ben living with you guys over there?
Well, he moved in after Andy moved out.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Ben and I would get all fucked up and ride bicycles, and we rode through Sagner Court, and all of a sudden there were all these bottles just flying at us.
Yeah.
And like, get out of here, white boy.
Yeah.
It's funny because, we just didn't have any concept of, sort of territory or anything. We were just a couple of, fucked up white kids that didn't really know.
You weren't.
But yeah.
Andy, what's your memories of what downtown Frederick was like in the 80s?
Well, there wasn't a lot of storefronts, really. There was restaurants, but there really wasn't too many stores. There was a 24-hour, like, porno store that I would frequent, not for the porno, but I'd go down there to get that stuff called Rush that you would, like, sniff.
You'd huff it.
Yeah, and then, but it was,
It makes you all
it was,
goofy.
you would cruise the circuit, which was all through the downtown. And I lived downtown, usually,
Cruising the circuit.
$400 could get you an apartment down there a month,
Yes.
anywhere.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a big music scene. There was a couple places downtown. Bushwallers and stuff was actually there still at that time, but they did like cover bands. Most of the bigger or successful places down there were all cover bands. So as far as musically, you couldn't get in. We ended up stumbling upon the Knights of Columbus. I think it's because Brian was Catholic or something.
I still
and,
am, man.
But up on 7th Street, and we rented that a couple of times, and that turned into pretty.
We rented
cool
that
place.
one out of Leitersburg too.
We used to do
I remember
Knights of
going to shows
Columbus's
at-
Well,
all across Maryland.
Like Pat said, there was the Blue Dragon
But,
and Carroll Creek Cafe.
the downtown was a little bit rough. I mean,
Wait.
I got jumped a couple of times by different people just because I looked
Pat,
weird or whatever.
What was that place on the corner, like the food down on Saint Street on the corner of
Oh yeah, the soup.
Soup
Kitchen.
Kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. We played the Soup Kitchen.
That was the old railroad station place.
Yeah, I remember.
That was right
We
down
played in the
down the
streets a
street
couple times.
from Sky Stage, where Sky Stage is now.
Pat, you submitted some pictures that you wanted to talk about, so we're going to go through them one at a time, and I want you to share with the audience why each picture you wanted to share and anything you want to say about the picture.
Hey, Pat, real quick. You're getting mighty gray, my friend.
Gray?
Yeah,
What's the first
fucking-
picture? Who is that?
That's Randy.
that's Randy Jones. He is one of the founding members, and like I said, Randy's songwriting was really instrumental in setting the Love Gods off in the direction.
Yeah, he was
You know,
great.
he and Brian, like, I had an idea musically what I wanted to do, but lyrically it was really Brian and Randy that just latched onto each other.
Yeah, he wrote some good songs.
Okay. Let's go to the next image, Nick.
Oh,
That's Knuckles. That's Chuck Rempe. He was the next bass player.
one of my
Or,
best friends.
Yeah, Kevin filled in for a very, very brief period
Right.
after Randy, but then Chuck was in the band for
Hey, Pat, you remember when we played that? It was some kind of Catholic school or something down in Montgomery County, and Chuck. Remember how he plays bass real low? He stepped on his chord, I think, intentionally because he
That
didn't
was
know.
that was at the Friends School, wasn't that?
Friends,
the
Yeah.
Friends School?
yeah, because I don't
Yeah,
think he
he-
knew the
he
rest
told
of the
me.
song, so he just stepped on the chord, cut himself off, but
Our next, let's go through our next image. Now, this is all of you guys. Who is in the
this
picture?
this was summer of '87, and we had just recorded Medicine Man, which ended up sort of being the demo for the album. A lot of the songs from Medicine Man we ended up re-recording.
Mhm.
So this is like, I don't know, maybe less than 6 months after Andrew had joined the band and about 6 months before Chuck quit the band. So we had this, sort of like period of time where we had, that lineup. That was kind of like the classic.
Pat, who took all those pictures? Was that Chrissy?
Christine.
Yeah. Yeah. Christine Gates.
Yeah.
And then the last image that we have, Nick. There you go. That's a great studio picture.
man, look at those ribs! Holy shit! Holy shit! Was I eating back then?
Wow.
I must have been doing something not good for me.
It's a cool picture. And then I thought I got Nick. Can you shoot me real quick? And then we got the Voodoo Love God cover, which has got you three guys
Is
on
that
it.
bone white vinyl?
This is the bone white vinyl.
Nice.
So we'll pick up with this picture in the album. Pat, I'm going to ask your memories with putting together this album, and if I had to ask, what's your favorite song off of this?
Oh, probably Charlie's Children.
I was going to say the same thing.
That's the one they did the wedding to, right?
Yeah.
And that's-
Rich, is it Rich that got married at?
Yeah, Rich.
Rich got married
Yeah,
at the
Rich Ziegler.
Rich
He's
Ziegler.
been a big fan forever.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Pat.
Oh, I was just going to say, when I came up here, a guy that ended up being an art professor as well. But he knew who I was from that song getting played on HFS. Like he knew who I was. He
Oh,
knew
wow.
who the Voodoo
I didn't know that.
gods
That's
were.
cool.
And he had that song, like he had recorded it off of HFS, which
No,
I
that's
thought was.
pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Very awesome.
So we actually got some airplay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well, I was down in Towson and got the record to Skiz, so he was playing it on CVT. I think that's what the Towson radio station, WCVT. It didn't reach Frederick, but it played around the Baltimore area for sure.
Hey, Andy, remember that place called Chambers
Mm-hmm.
that we played? I'll just think of a story.
That
Go
was
ahead.
with John.
No, share with the group.
That was with John Hornick. Hornick was
That's the song that I wrote with Sourpuss. I punched a girl. That's where I punched her at.
What's the name of the club?
Chambers.
Chambers.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was playing bass. I had brand new bass that night. Very first night I had it, the mic stand fell over and put a big old chip in it. But I was carrying the bass out, and there was this girl who wouldn't let me pass. She was like, kept going like this, like look. And I said, "Man, please let me by." I was getting frustrated, and I put the bass amp down. I just clocked her like that, like. Andy said you seen her at school, like she was in your class or something at the house, and she had like a black eye or something.
No, I don't remember that part of it, but I'm sure she appreciated whatever you had to give her.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's. I thought we would go back and all of us, like when we first met. Pat, I have this memory, and I think I've shared this with you, right? I was an undergraduate at Shepherd, and I wanted to put some shows on, and you were working at Music Trader, right? Is that what it was called? The little record store down on Carroll Creek? And I remember coming in and locking eyes with you and telling you what I was trying to do, and that
It's love at first sight.
changed my life. It was really. Now, at that point, you weren't with the Voodoo Love Gods. You were pursuing rockabilly, and that's always been one of the things I love the most about you, Pat. I really do. Is this diversity and eclectic takes in music. You have a wide palette from which, as an artist, you pull. So I was just curious, how does it go from punk rock to rockabilly? How is this transition? And if you don't mind, like you can go back even before, talking about your musical influences and the things that really got you going when you were young.
It all starts out really with. I guess it would be 1967 when, all of the really cool psychedelic stuff was coming out. The Stones, Satanic Majesty's Request, Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Sgt. Pepper's, Loves, Forever Changes. All these records came out, and my brother was really into the British invasion stuff. He was like a huge Beatles fan. But he got like Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones, and I think it kind of freaked him out. Honestly, I think like he wasn't really equipped to handle the psychedelic experience. And I love those albums, and he was just like, gave them to, it's like 3.5 years old. And he's like, here, you like them, you take them. And that's what I kind of grew up with, So then I met Andy McCutcheon. We both had guitar lessons at the same time at the Frederick Music Center in the Fredericktown Mall with different teachers, but we would both, this is way before either one of us drove. So our moms would drop us off, and then we would have like half an hour or 45 minutes to just sort of like hang out. And it's like, hey, he looks kind of cool. So, we ended up becoming like really good friends. And he's like, hey, I've got a band, you should come up and jam with us. So, I had my parents take me up there to to his parents' house. And then, we jammed, and then they asked me to like go outside for a little while. And I came back and they were like, yeah, we want you in the band. So, that was probably 1979 that I started playing with Andy. And it was very much like 60s, Doors, sort of, Country Joe and the Fish, Jefferson Airplane, very,
Was
very...
Dave Lance in that group, Pat?
Yeah, Dave Lance and Randy Painter were both in that band. And so, kind of psychedelic was my first real love. And then it was really meeting, Rob and Todd and Steve Blickenstaff and Ben and those guys that turned me on to like, I'd heard all of the punk, Clash, Sex Pistols, Stranglers, and all that stuff. But they were the first ones that turned me on to like the Cramps. And that's when it's like, oh, it's like, I like this.
Right.
So, that kind of, but then ever since then, it's like there have been little bits, like there are things about rockabilly that I love. There are things about surf music that I love. There are little like elements of it that for me, it's like I had to sort of like explore those to sort of like understand those little aspects. So like the music that I make now has like little bits of all of that in it.
Yes.
But I'm not like tied down to any particular, genre.
Rockabilly was the punk of its time. There wasn't a punk
right,
wasn't
most
a word,
definitely.
then,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
rockabilly was meant the same
Yeah.
thing. Counterculture, wild race cars, chicks, whatever. Fuck the establishment, let's rock and roll, and it freaked a lot of people out. Elvis couldn't even be shown from the waist down on television and stuff, and he was pretty actually watered over, with rockabilly. But rockabilly was the first like wild rock and roll that made it into the white culture,
Right, into mainstream.
because it did evolve from blues and what a lot of at the time it was considered black music was doing, and there was people like Sun Records that kind of didn't care and just started playing the race music or whatever. I don't know what they exactly called it back then, but like started broadcasting it, and it got really, really popular. And it broke down a lot of those barriers between the races at the time, I think.
I wanted to share a couple of things, and we can get into some specific stories. Nick, we're going to show the still number 5, the men's club. This is a show that I was talking about. We're going to show a video clip, but we have the Voodoo Love Gods.
What year is this?
This 1989. We have this. This show is on Seven Arts Archives. You videotaped that.
Okay.
We transferred it. We put it on. This took place in Shepherdstown. I organized
I think
all
Jim
this
Swope actually was the guy behind the camera for a lot of it.
for the filming. And then Nick, if you don't mind,
Some of it.
let's go to the next image, which was this article. Most people don't know about this. There was this controversy back then. I think it's one of the reasons like we've all remained friends, right? Because we were part of this craziness. But I got wrapped up. This is before pranks. This is before they had, what was that MTV show?
Right.
This
Practical Jokers.
yeah, I staged this bogus, it was the satanic panic of the 1980s. But it was several incredible shows. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, the Apollo Flyer. This one has Pat's band on it at the time. This was Rocket Scientist, the Voodoo Love Gods. That was an incredible show.
Where was this at?
That's the Apollo show.
This one I fell in the pit then?
Not this one.
This was upstairs?
This was in the middle one. This was at the end. The cops raided it, and the two girls. You can bring Pat back up. Pat, what's your recollections of some of those shows back in the days from the 80s?
Yeah, at that point, like when I when I had quit the Love Gods, I just needed a break from everything. you know, like you, I think that you knew Jill.
Grable, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jill and I, just were sort of like hopelessly in love. But we both jumped into like the rock and roll lifestyle, head first. And after a couple of years, the I was just, I was beginning to get scared that it was going to be like really excessive, and I just needed to like take a, break from everything for a while. So that was during that period of time. I still wanted to make music, so I had met Craig. I think he came into a music trader, and I was listening, I think, to the Astronauts. And Craig was just like, what is this? What are you listening to? What is this? This is what I've always heard in my head. What are you listening to? And I was, explained to him. And we decided to start playing together. And then Gary, Rhode Armel, ended up, like Craig brought him in. But it wasn't like a real serious band. Like, we were just doing it for fun.
Fun, yeah.
And, it was just, like, at that point, it's like the Love Gods were, pretty established at that point. So, it's like the rocket scientists were just for fun. But it was fun. Those shows, those shows were fun.
Fantastic music. I go with Brian. What are some of your memories from those shows back then? The ones you guys did in West Virginia.
They were wild and they were fun.
Oh yeah, they were. They were buck wild shows.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's great to get up, and perform, and do your thing in front of people. I mean, that's why I do it. I mean, it gives me a rush, I guess you could call it.
I thought you were going to say erection.
Well, sometimes it does, just like that masturbating thing. But no, I mean, that's why I still do it, because, I mean, I'm no musician. I play a little bass with Sourpuss, but I just feel my thing is entertaining. I don't think I'm all that of, good of a singer, but I just like to get a little wild. Have some fun, create.
I think you're a fantastic frontman. Andy, go ahead, Pat.
I was going to say, I do have like one real strong memory. It was somewhere, I think up in Pennsylvania, some outdoor thing that a bunch of bands, it was like in a barn.
Pat, I was just talking about this with Andy. This was great. Bring it on. I know the story.
Go on. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Brian and I decided that we were going to make this big entrance. We were both just wearing loincloths.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Yes, this is the story, Andy.
We jumped off of the speaker columns onto the stage, making this big grand entrance. And as soon as we hit the stage, the power died. So we're just standing there.
In loincloths.
Yeah.
In loincloths, no sound coming out of anything. And Brian and I are just like, oh, fuck.
Hey, the funniest thing was there was a couple guys standing out in front of us, like with their arm crossed and their back to us, like this ain't, they didn't like it or something. It was hilarious. But I think that was a Rick Knoll gig, wasn't it? It was I think it was Red Lion, PA somewhere.
He might have had something to do with it.
Yeah,
but that was funny. It's sort of like when the show was kind of doesn't go.
Was Trail was playing bass or drums, right?
Mike Trail.
Yeah,
and Chuck on bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think Randy was there. Yeah.
No, Randy left. He was only with us for. A couple of months.
Only you and me wore the loincloths. We were that stupid.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one else would.
Well, I mean,
you fuck it. You
Ted
fuck
Nugent
it. Yeah.
Ted Nugent used to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Andy, From those shows back in the 80s, which ones stand out for you? What are some of the memorable?
Well, the one we recorded probably is the most memorable because it was very well attended. I think there was an art show happening. It was at the Men's Club at Shepherdstown. It was right downtown Shepherdstown. It was very well attended, and I was looking at the video not too long ago, and by the end of the night, like everybody was on the dance floor dancing, and that's the most rewarding feedback you can get when you're playing music is to have an audience that's so into it that they're dancing, and because a lot of people are kind of shy and hesitant about that kind of stuff, but if you watch it by the very end, the whole floor it's packed. It goes from like nobody dancing to everybody dancing.
Nick, will you play this is from Seven Arts Archives. I encourage everyone to please check this out. This is one of our coolest videos. We got to get more of these.
You got one more photo yet.
One more.
It's all right.
We'll come back to it. Hey, we could all dance like the Charlie Brown dancers.
We can skip that photo and just do with the two music videos.
But
I'm happy you kept this, Andy.
You were Don, a good person that could coordinate these type of events and get people to come. We were the type of guys in the background working on this shit, but we didn't know when we were playing next or where it was going to go or what was going to happen. So we kind of needed somebody like you to set these shows up.
It was, and we'll let this just kind of play for a little bit and talk over it. It was an intoxicating period for me as a young man, as an artist. And, this whole idea that being an artist is more than just making images, that organizing and being almost like a Warhol kind of figure was, that was part of it.
I always thought you were gay.
Gay?
Yeah.
Look at Eric. Look at young Eric.
Man,
right
he's young as shit there.
He still looks exactly like that.
His hair's a lot grayer, though.
Brian hasn't changed
I'm
at all.
stupid!
Hey, that was...
Can you scroll up in it?
That was Brian's favorite
Nick,
song.
Just scroll about
Hey,
10 minutes.
You know something? This girl that I know really wants to hear that.
There it is.
Dancing around.
Oh,
man.
that was perfect.
Yeah, baby.
Timing. Lisa Kirk.
Yeah, shake that thing, girl. Yee.
I think Lisa Kirk is more famous than the Voodoo Love Gods at this point.
Yes. Yep. That red dress. Everyone knew that red dress.
Yeah.
Now, did she marry?
She's shaking her. She's shaking her tail feather.
Greg, the bass player.
You can go ahead and bring that down. They didn't last very long after
Did you
that.
see that girl shaking her butt?
No, she didn't last. They didn't last very long after
Pat
that.
missed all that good shit after he left the
Pat,
band.
did you see that girl dancing?
Lisa. Oh, she was. Who
was she? I don't know her.
Lisa Kirk at the time. I was dating her.
I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, she was. I was dating her and a few other girls back then, but I've not always been a good guy.
I remember her being around. I don't think I knew her that well.
She's a fascinating woman. I'm not sure. She's somewhere in Morgantown these days. I'm closer friends with her sisters. I haven't seen her many times. She had a long relationship with Kevin too. I digress, but we'll take a clip. This is Nick shot this. Our producer shot this. I did the light show. This is 30 years later.
Same establishment.
Yeah.
3 of the same members there, yeah.
Metallic KO shirt. That's an old Voodoo song.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. It's one of my favorites.
That was one I think Pat was still in the band.
Yeah, that goes back. I mean, you all had that when I joined, so I don't know if that's something Randy even helped out with. Or...
What song was that?
I left
my baby.
You can go ahead and close that. Nick.
I wrote it, but it was.
I think Brian, you and I wrote that.
Yeah, we probably did. We collaborated on a few songs.
Now that we've worked through our media and there's nothing, we got another 10 or 10 minutes. We can have a little bit of fun and tell stories, right? Pat, I have Pat stories I love. The time there was a period where you held court at Denny's, right? And you would stay all night and you would drink coffee.
Lots of coffee.
And I remember like you telling me this one time you drank this ungodly amount of coffee. I forget how much it was. And then you had these leather pants, right? These tight leather pants. And I don't know how, but at some point when you got rid of those pants, they ended up on Billy Giller in the streets. And they were so tight on Billy Giller, he couldn't even breathe on them, but he was determined to wear them leather pants. So, yeah. So, no.
Well, that's where I started hanging out with Pat, was through the Denny's. That was the spot to meet, rendezvous in the evening, and you could get away with spending $2 on a
cup of Joe,
on a cup of Joe and a tip, and hang out all night.
To be honest about it, like one of the, like everybody kind of respected the Skeptics, because musically they were so good and stuff, but they didn't have the same kind of, sort of like personal following, because those guys never were out in public. Andy's like both Andy and Steve are both incredibly private people. That they don't, that they don't really go out. Like Andy doesn't go anywhere without Carmen. Steve doesn't really go out in public that much at all. And it's because we hung out at Denny's and we were a presence that we actually had a, pretty loyal following. So that holding court, and that goes back to, the very beginning of like the Subterraneans. It goes back to like 84, 83, 84. It started hanging out there and started, just more of these like punk kids, people that were, just a couple of years younger than us that started showing up because like, they had heard that we were there. So it just ended up being, it's like probably 20, 25 people.
No, I remember showing up a couple of times and having a great time. And, those kind of things, those intimate is where your creativity, everything is, you're sharing ideas with each other. Things are, those kind of things are super cool. Andy, what are some of the things that you would like to share with the audience about our scene back in the day before we bring this thing to a wrap?
Well, the Frederick scene was really happening at Denny's early on in the 80s. And luckily for me, it was only a couple miles from my house. I think I wrecked my car that I did have at some point, and I had to, if I wanted to go hang out, I had to walk there, but it wasn't that far. But, it was really nice, cool, interesting to be able to meet different people that were into creating their own art, their own music, that they weren't conformist, because that's all that was around was conformity. In Frederick, there was like one radio station, WFMD or ZYQ or something, but they only played top 40 music, so that's all that you could get on your radio, basically. MTV, I didn't have cable or anything right away, so that really wasn't accessible. You had to you had to physically either talk and hang out with people that had records, or you had to go to the record store, and then you couldn't even, they didn't have like listening booths. You had to just look at their album cover and stare at it and decide, this looks, I guess I want to dress like these guys or something, I don't know, and let's try them out, and so, but when you started meeting, when I started meeting more people that had similar tastes, or at least creative tastes, they could turn you on to different stuff. I know Pat was a mentor as far as like getting into the Damned. He introduced me to the Damned, which was still one of my favorite punk bands. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't, sometimes you could meet them at a college level stuff, high school, not so much, but Denny's was a good spot, or if you heard about parties, sometimes you would meet different, subgroups of people that were in Middletown or, later at Hagerstown area even or wherever. But things were, fragmented. There wasn't any internet. You couldn't you couldn't advertise for a show on Facebook and have people see it. You had to go downtown and put up flyers. Or word of mouth. That was the only way to communicate what was happening. If we did rent a Knights of Columbus, how would people know about it? We were taping shit up in windows and telephone poles and
sticking
all around
them in
town.
hands.
If there was a spot like Denny's where people would come to, you could put it out, through the grapevine that way. But
I think we got in trouble for putting them on people's windshields.
Yeah,
all in the parking lots.
Well, to give Mike Trail a shout out, he was the first drummer in the Voodoos. He had a van spray painted black with white Voodoo Love Gods all over it.
Yep.
And that was
Pat, you remember
got
when
a
we
lot
went
of
up to
attention around
Pittsburgh?
town.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
the Electric Banana. When we left, when we left Rochester and then we started heading to Pittsburgh, Mike started freaking out. He was going like, "I don't know where to go." Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Pull over and get out of the fucking seat. Let me drive." So I started driving, and then he went in the back and was looking at some kind of Playboy or something. I don't know what he was doing. Probably masturbating or something back there.
I was so sick.
Oh, that's funny.
Because we'd stayed at Randy's. We played with
the
what was
Chesterfield Kings in Rochester. Remember that? That's Rochester. We played with Chesterfield Kings, and then we went to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I forget who we played with there. But
The one thing, we're going to probably wrap this here in a couple minutes. The one thing, Pat, you and I live similar in that we both kind of live like the Unabomber. Technology, like this internet stuff, isn't all that big in my life. I don't even have Wi-Fi in my house.
you don't.
So what I see as the biggest changes from then to now is, the internet. And I have mixed feelings about it. But you mentioned the flyers. Like, flyers were very much part of that scene. Like, you would go out of your way to, like, if you,
Make it,
and to make it, you wanted it to be, to capture
Catch the
people's
eye.
attention.
Yeah.
So the flyers were very much part of the scene.
Sure was.
What would you say? What are some of the differences that you see in music today as opposed to, say, in the 80s?
I just know from, sort of like the music scene up here and from what I gather.
And when you say up here, let everyone know where you're at. You're in Frostburg. Or
Yeah,
Frostburg
I'm in
area.
western, far western Maryland. I really was really worried that sort of like rock music was dead, that there wasn't a whole lot of interest. That it had just been completely overtaken with like bluegrass. And it's like, I like bluegrass okay, but it's sort of like it took over the space that like the Grateful Dead had, that it became like bluegrass became like the sort of like
Real hip.
counterculture stoner music. I guess because Jerry Garcia, was into bluegrass music. But it was just like, it just dominated everywhere. It was hard to find like rock and roll bands. Now I think rock and roll's beginning to make a little bit of a comeback. There's some bands that one's a couple of years old that I've sort of like become enamored with. Wet Leg.
Mm-hmm.
I know why you're enamored with them.
Yeah, they're just really good songwriters, real guitar based.
The chick that sings is really hot.
Yeah.
That's funny. Andy,
I like Wet Leg too.
the biggest things you would say, well, let's go ahead. We can start bringing this thing to a wrap. Let's all, whatever we want to say to get people out for January 24th for both events. You go first, Andy.
Yeah, the library first, 2 o'clock. There's a lot of people coming, so please get there early. I'm going to be DJing a little bit, spinning some of these discs from the '80s, and then there's going to be a panel there, and I think the audience is going to have an opportunity to ask some questions. It'll be led by the librarian Emily, but I think there's going to be a question and answer period.
Yeah.
We'll play some more music, and then we're going up to Old Mother's to set up and jam out, so you guys can actually experience live rock and roll.
Voodoo .2.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is be there or be square.
Yeah. Pat, what would you say to encourage everyone to come out?
I'd love to make it down.
I very, very much hope you do.
Yeah, if I can, I will.
Would you wear a loincloth if you came down?
I would. I would probably also get arrested for it. I could get away with it back then because I was cute.
You're still
I
cute.
don't think anybody wants to see an old man wearing a loincloth. Maybe an adult diaper.
Pretty close.
Yeah, they are close.
I'll bring one for you. I got one for my mother-in-law you can wear.
There you go. I hope everyone comes out to these events that we have on the 24th. I'm going to ask each one of you guys if you want to plug any social media to go ahead. Pat, do you have any social media where people can follow Pat Faville? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I guess like the latest stuff that I've recorded is under the High Priests. Stuff that Shane and I've been doing. It's on both Bandcamp and Reverb Nation. We've got a few songs up.
Please, everyone,
like I said,
check them out. Yeah. Did I cut you
What's
off?
that?
I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off. I told everyone to check it out. Anything else you want to say?
No.
No, Pat, I love having you on the show, and I want everyone, you're an incredible musician, a wonderful friend, a fascinating mind. Our friendship has been great, 1989. Andy?
Yeah, you can check out some new Voodoo stuff on Damn It Records. It's an English record label. I think it's like 50 quid a song, which is like 50 cents or something, so don't be afraid of the weird money thing, but it's not very expensive to download something. And we're going to be giving some of the music away at these events, okay? We're going to be just handing stuff out or having a competition or asking questions about loincloths or something like that and giving some music away at the library and the show. And please, everybody, contact Hub City Vinyl and tell them you want the new
Voodoo Love Gods
record, okay?
Right.
Ask them when it's coming out. Tell them you want to sign up for a pre-release or something, and then it'll happen. Thank you.
All I want to say is you better kiss my ass as much as you kiss Pat's ass.
That's funny. I want to say I got these incredible beads from Brian in 2019. That's also documented on Seven Arts Archives. I'll kiss some ass. I always wanted to sing with the Voodoo Love Gods, my favorite band, my favorite front man, and you guys made a dream come true on in 2019. It was a blast to be on stage with you guys. It meant the world to me to put together programs that allowed some of my closest friends to get together and again play music in Frederick, and I think they had pretty much forgotten about us, so it was an incredible experience.
You've been one of our most loyal fans for a long time.
I've tried. Yeah. I love y'all's music. I love everything about the bands. I love the histories. And my joke was, I'm just from some trailer park in West Virginia. I moved to Frederick, Maryland. My friends tell me that they're rock stars. And I'm like, okay, So it's worked. I wish you guys nothing but success with all of your music. I hope this 24th thing goes really great. Nick, if you want, you can go ahead and bring us out. Talk to you soon, Pat.
Pat, good to see you.